I always get asked, why does my video look so crappy? I don't want to be bothered with this kind of setup. It's not that I can't do good video. It's just that I don't want to. Um, it's a lot of effort, and I give the YouTubers a lot of credit for going through the effort to make their videos look so good and their lighting look so good. For me, I just threw some lights up and set up the Sony camera, and I'm shooting a video. My audio matters to me, and I use that Adobe AI. I'll leave a link for it. Like, it can take any audio and make it sound spectacular. I'm really impressed with that. That's the only thing I'm going to give you with this video setup, because I can't give advice to video whatsoever. I remember, I can't even tell you how many years ago it was. I was hired by a gentleman that was running for Congress, and he said, I want you to come to France with me, and do video of me in Normandy, and at the beaches there. And I'm like, no, I don't do video, but in my head I'm going, free trip to France. Yeah, I do video, not a problem at all. I think I was using the A7R2 or A7R3. I don't even remember what it was, but I had ordered a gimbal. It was, there was no electronics on these old gimbals. It was just, a pole with an arm on it. And I got that, and I got a mic set up. And I actually used one of the original Sony mic setups, the ones that plug into that hot shoe. And I was a video guy. The video came out really well, and by pure luck and fluke, and it was a mixture between the camera did most of the work, the audio was good because of the Sony microphone, and the scenery there was just spectacular on the beaches, and the content, it was great content because of where I was at. Now, putting me in a less than optimal visual space, probably would have screwed everything up. And every time we went out and shot the video, it was like the perfect day for it. I didn't have to think or didn't have to do anything. I didn't have to worry about lights. It was just out on the beach or out in the areas. It was always just the perfect sun or overcast. It just worked perfectly well for the video, and it made me look like a video guy at that time, and that was quite a while ago. But for me, I appreciate great video, and I can see the appeal of it. But for me on this channel, I just want to teach, and the time that would take me to set up the video and create each scene like that, versus just teaching, would make this not fun for me, or wouldn't allow me to put out as many as I do, because taking the DJI Osmo Pocket 3 and setting up on a stand, I'm done. I just point it in the right direction, press play, and I'm good to go. Even my intros, it's so much easier to use the little DJI mics that connect automatically to the camera, and create the video with audio. It's 2 seconds. With this, it's a setup. I have to set up the lights, I have to set up the camera, the tripod, the lens, everything. And I don't even know how this is going to come out. I'm presuming this is better than what I normally do because I'm shooting it on the Sony, using that Sigma 28 to 70, or no, Tamron 28 to 75 lens. And I'm using the Sony mic again because I really love their mics that connect right to the hot shoe. They work for me, and they're easy. So when I do a nice video like this, that's my setup, and that's what works for me. But anyway, for all those of you who ask, why don't my videos look better? It's because of that. I want to enjoy this. This isn't my living. This is not how I make a living. So I want to have fun with it and enjoy it. Now, again, I'm props to the people that just have the most spectacular video. I do enjoy them at times. I really do. There's, a couple creators that I can watch and then go, okay, I can enjoy your fluff that you're putting in because it's entertaining fluff. The other stuff, some of the intros that are so long and all just drive me a little crazy. But but my audio, I use that Adobe AI. It's online. You just upload the audio clip, and it downloads it, and it's perfect every time. If I forget my mic, I don't care, because I can, literally film on the camera, it'll be echoey, noisy. When it comes downloaded, it's perfect. And I just sync it back up to the video and I'm good to go. It just works like a charm. That's my only tip for video is the audio because I love that. I think they did a great job with that. Anyway, so I'm doing a shoot today. I'm going to bare bone it. I'm going to use the Sony a7R5. Now, all the people that ask me, if you have Leicas, you have the M11, you have the SL, like, why do you use the Sony? The Sony camera is a great camera for me. I had the Sony cameras almost since day one. I waited until the second revision of all the cameras, and I tried the A7 II, the A7R2, the A7R3. Like when I go through my old photos and look what cameras took what, the A7R2 and 3 and the Nikon Z6 were like the most used, I believe, back in the day. Today, like I'd still recommend the Nikon Z6, the first version, if you don't need it for professional use. Like, it was a great sensor and it's a great camera. I don't like the, earlier Sonys because of the color science. Now, this A7R5 is the color science spectacular to me. And it's both, natural light and strobe. That's why I love this camera so much. I liked the A7R2, the A7R3, but it was a lot of work in post-processing to get my colors right. But the image quality was still fantastic. It was just that color, and I don't have the time or effort to put into fixing color in cameras today. So, that's why I chose that, and that's why I like the Leica SL2S. I love the color science with it. I don't care about the camera body and the menus because I know my cameras well enough to not have to worry about looking through menus. I know a lot of people bitch about the menu system. This one's better than that one. But if you know your gear and you know where everything is because you know your gear, it doesn't even come into play. So there's that. Anyway, I just wanted to give you this brief intro and answer a few questions that people throw at me. The other one, why don't I use a tripod? I don't like using tripods. I think there's a great place for them, and I think a lot of people, would benefit from using a tripod. But I need to be free with my camera, and be able to make those small movements every which way. It just works for me better hand holding versus a tripod. So that's why I don't use a tripod. I think that's it for today, and I'll answer more questions in the future with upcoming videos. But let's get to the shoot. Like I said, we're going to bare bones it. We're just going to use one Speedlight. I'm going to figure out which light, easy carry modifier I'm going to use on it with the remote and the camera, and a light travel stand. And we're going to create some images with that. Don't overthink this. I know like product sales for soft boxes and light stands and everything new. Everybody has a gimmick and they want to sell product. And there's nothing wrong with that. I'm sell, sell, sell. It's what keeps our companies in business, So as much as I bitch about YouTube photographers, there's a need for YouTube presentations of new equipment and to get people to buy gear, because if people aren't buying gear and buying the new gear, these companies would be out of business, and where would we go? So more power to them. The only issue I take is taking photography advice from some of these people that just do YouTube for a living and then create photography advice out of it. That's the only issue I have. As far as them, presenting new cameras and new lenses and all that stuff, their job is to sell it. And, for these companies to stay in business, they need to sell it. So more power to them. They're keeping our industry going with that. And they do sell gear. So, I have no issue with that whatsoever. There's always that shiny new something that you're going to want to buy. But, remember, your old gear is just as good if you just learn how to use it and get better with it. But keep buying the new stuff so all these camera companies stay in business. Anyway, I'm going to shut up now. Let's get to the shoot and see how we do with this smorgasbord kind of setup. I'm just going to grab some random stuff and shoot, and hopefully it comes out perfect. Thanks for watching as always. So I thought I'd continue on with the somewhat decent video to show you what I'm using today. So this is the Godox V100. Again, I'm really impressed with this light, and I just want you people to know this because, this isn't a sales pitch. Well, it is in a way because, I have an affiliate link, but this is a great flash. I've been using it all the time and love it. And I thought, what the heck? I don't show this very often on this channel because this Round Flash, who is the originator of this, went out of business, I believe. They don't sell them anymore. Maybe they're still in business, but I just can't find them. B&H used to have them, but they don't anymore. But as I was looking through Amazon, I found them on the Godox store. So I'll leave a link below for this because I really enjoy using this. I think it's a lot of fun. And this, for a small modifier, it just works. Yes, I have her with me because everyone always makes comments on her that she's creepy. Well, maybe a little, but it helps with training, and that's what I use her for. So, just so you know, she's here with me. And no, I don't name her because that would be even creepier than the doll itself. But anyway, so this is the Round Flash. It's pretty easy to set up, and I think Godox is the same thing. I think it's just a knockoff, I guess. If you can still say that, if they're not in business, is it really a knockoff anymore? But I guess it would be. Anyway, so it just has the Velcro strap, and you just slide over the flash. Now, this will obviously work with round heads and square heads, as you can see. Just make sure it's over it. That's how it looks. And let me just show you the light quality from it, because it's actually pretty impressive for what it is. I was actually really excited to see that Godox has their own version of this now, because I do love this modifier that much. I use it quite a bit, but again, I don't show it on the channel that much because it wasn't available. Now, I just wanted to start off in the studio with a mannequin really quick so you can see the light quality from this. And this is the only time I'll be shooting in TTL with the Godox V100. And because I wanted to show you that the TTL works perfectly fine with this unit if you are a TTL shooter. I'm a manual shooter 90% of the time. So, I never have an issue with the light or the exposure. But if you are TTL, this will work fine for you. Now, here's the thing, learning how to use a smaller light source, it really isn't that hard. You just have to make small provisions and learn the light pattern of whatever modifier you're using. And I've shown the smaller umbrellas, which are, very forgiving, even though they're a smaller umbrella. But this is a more directional light that is a little bit softer than, obviously using a bare flash. Now you can see the shadowing on her face because that light is directly pointed at her. I'm not feathering it at all. And, although it is a harder shadow, it's not harsh. The lines are softened by this, and it produces beautiful light. The thing you have to watch out for is your backdrop, especially if you're shooting somebody with dark hair. You got to make sure that you're bringing enough ambient to fill in that backdrop or the space around her, because she does have dark hair. Now I'm going to feather it and push it into that wall a little bit so it kicks back. It's lighting the hair just a touch and softening those shadows just ever so much. Because of the inverse square law, of course, it's a quicker fall off. I could have, solved that by just moving the light a little closer to her. Now, on this photo, you're going to see that, the flash is lighting the backdrop as well. So there's not that separation. It's there, but it's not as dramatic or pleasing as, more ambient would give you. Like in this hallway, I have that ambient light behind. I set the ISO to 400, let the flash fill her in, and let that ambient come in from behind her. So I have that separation. Now with somebody with blonde hair or lighter hair, that's not an issue. But now here, I'm going to drop this down to ISO 100 to really give you a look at this, because that black wall is behind her. I'm going to lose that whole side. You can see a little bit. The flash is, providing a little bit of light, but it's too close. Now, this is without the flash at all. So this is what I'm getting. Now, this whole image obviously is lit by just that speed light and this modifier, but it doesn't matter if you're not bringing in the ambient light to fill in that black wall. I can move her closer to the lighter wall and provide that separation. But even that hint on the left side, it's just like there's no left side of the picture because it's too deep of a fall off. Now, to solve this, I can raise the ISO or I can move her into that lighter wall. They're my two options. So I raised the ISO a little bit on her hair, and you can see the hair light was, a little bit better for the separation. But, to make it even better, move her into the lighter part of the wall to provide more separation by that lighter wall. These are little things, again, that you have to watch with smaller modifiers. Now, I'm shooting at ISO 400 on this one. The light is beautiful. The flash is lighting the wall. If I pull it back a little bit, I'm going to need to raise the ISO just a hair because, again, the inverse square law, even though she's back close to the wall, is going to play. You just have to make these small adjustments. Now, you can see that the left side of her, it got darker because I pulled it away. The inverse square law took over, and, it's just not working. Now, putting her on the black wall in that same scenario with that light at that distance, I lose the wall completely. It's just not there. And remember, I'm shooting at a lower ISO. So the flash has to do all the work, but it's still that fall off is so quick with that light being that far away from her. That's the issue. But I wanted full coverage. So the only thing I can do here is to raise my ISO. If I raise my ISO, you can see the ambient light is going to fill that wall in. I'm going to, get a separation that I'm looking for. So I'm on ISO 800 now. I keep the light at the distance so I have full coverage, and I'm bringing in the ambient light to have that separation. So they're the little things that you have to play with a smaller light source. But, given what this thing can do and the coverage that it has and the quality of the light, I'm willing to make those trade-offs and to, make those adjustments. Now, I'm just going to show you a small clip with this dress because I used it handheld, and it really is so lightweight. It doesn't add much to your flash at all, but the look is beautiful. This is, almost close to a beauty dish kind of look when you're using it above camera like that. Now, in the studio here, I just wanted to show you some shots, just moving the light, feathering the light. Again, whatever angle you put this on, you really have, it's hard to screw it up. It really is. It is a softer light source considering the size, and considering this is just a one speed light, look, it works. And I'm shooting at ISO 200 right now. So I do have some ambient light coming in, but not enough to make that big of a difference. The main light source is still the speed light, and it's working great. Now, I'm at ISO 400, and you can see that, the fall off isn't that great because I have the ambient light come in and fill in that. When I drop that ISO down to 100, you can see the backdrop just went dark. So the inverse square law takes effect. This is without the flash. And, with the flash, obviously, it's doing a lot of the work. So just by, raising my ISO and moving her away, it's two completely different looks just by making minor adjustments in either your ISO, your exposure itself, or the light positioning. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the shoot. This was a lot of fun. I'm going to leave the link for this. Again, here's one without the flash. But I really want to leave the link for this because it is one of my favorite modifiers for speedlights. And again, I didn't show it as much because I couldn't find them. And now that Godox is producing these, I'm more than happy to start showing these things again because I use it that often, obviously. I love the look of it. I love the quality of the light, and I love what you can do with it. Anyway, again, I hope you enjoyed the shoot. If you have any questions, leave them below. This thing will work on square head or round head. And, for just a quick carry pocket modifier, this is great. And I shouldn't call it pocket because you'll never fit it in your pocket. Thanks for watching as always.